Tom Green, Freddy Got Fingered. Great movie.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's not a great movie. I was just saying that my wife's just standing there and she said, I'm going to stand here and make dinosaur noises while you record your show.
You know that may improve things.
What noise was she making?
They said it might actually improve the things. She said, she's hiding.
Oh, she's run away now.
Maybe, do I even have a wife? Maybe I'll just make these things up each week.
In that
Meet
case,
my
who did I
wife,
meet?
Dave.
I've got to say, if you don't have a wife, you're drag specking listening Facebook. You know,
Very pants at me.
Right,
I'm recording my
fancy
show with my man friends.
Is that Dave? Meet my wife,
I don't
Dave.
know what's funny. Probably man friends.
Bye.
It's Saturday night. It's 7 p.m. It's now time for Transformers the Show.
Hello and welcome to Transformers the Show number 70. Tonight's show, we've got a discussion about what show you would bring back from the 80s, what franchise. Plus, we've got news, we've got Masterpeice, new Optimus Prime Masterpeice, and new Jetfire Masterpeice. All very exciting, all on Transformers the Show tonight.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
We're back in the room. So here's the news, the latest news this week, and back last weekend, Jamie, or Monday?
I think it was like Monday or something. It was Monday,
it was like
or
Monday,
Tuesday.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the Hasbro dropped on us the latest Kingdom
Tuesday.
kind of. There you go. The latest
Transformers
Kingdom kind of
Tuesday.
exclusive pack. Of course, yeah, Transformers Tuesday, which is going to be for the Kingdom line, and it's going to be a more slightly retooled Mirage in a more Earthish mode, not much more, to be brutally honest, and also Dinobot redone as Grimlock. So
But can I just say about the Mirage for it? He does look a lot nicer. I think the photographer's awesome, but it looks to me like
fantastic.
It looks to me like they're not using the clear plastic like the original Siege one, so that should solve a lot of breakage issues which people seem to be having. Although people did talk about there might be a lack of a shoulder mount, but it does look like, you know, that there could maybe be the gimmick was because there's a port in his back, so they might be able to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that people were complaining about you couldn't launch his couldn't mount his shoulder launcher, but I think you can't really 100% tell from any of the photos. I don't think. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Siege version, and because this is going to be part of a 2-pack that you have to get. I mean, I've seen a lot of people asking if people want to go in halves, and I'd say probably 75-80% of the people only want the Mirage, and they're asking somebody else to pick up the tab for the Grimlock.
I saw them in Hasbro Pulse. They're selling them about $54.99, and in demand, I think have it at about £69. But it's import price, but that usually means that they'll get it in sooner.
Yeah,
than Hasbro.
That is true.
So people tend to pay a bit more if they want it quicker, which a lot of people, including myself, sometimes we tend to do.
I mean, that looks quite nice. It's not massively different from the Siege version, but obviously it loses that canopy.
Yeah, I just like the fact it doesn't seem to be clear plastic because I'm not too fond of the clear plastic. I think sometimes it might look good, but when it comes to transforming again and again, it's going to break and crack, and I don't like that.
What do we think about this Grimlock from the Dinobot mold?
I'm getting it, but I think it looks hideous, to be honest. I like its dinosaur form, but I don't see it as Grimlock. I don't see it as
his robot head is too robotic, and the rest of his body is too organic. It jars. It doesn't fit properly.
And I mean, no, I think it's fair to say that none of us are massive Beast Wars fans. I think probably Alexis is the closest thing we have to somebody who's more of a Beast Wars aficionado. But even then, I look at it and I just think, like you just said, the head doesn't really go with the rest of it. And
it's for the Grimlock fans, right? It's for those people who collect Grimlock figures.
I'm a Grimlock fan.
No, but I know people that actually just collect Grimlock generally. Like, you get people that collect just Prime or Bumblebee or something, that only those, like, and have every variant of that particular under that name. And there'll be people that collect Grimlock. I know 3 people that do that, just Grimlock on its own, who will probably say, "Oh, it's another Grimlock. I'll collect that."
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There'll be people who do that, but I think even Hasbro know there'll be a lot more people who want the Earth Mode Mirage, and you stick it in with that, and then you can charge the higher price, which is what they're doing. I mean, that's the reality of it. It's right. How can we milk enough money out of this mold? And that Mirage is what most are after.
Yeah, I
The
think
artwork on the box again is amazing, and we've got a little.
the artwork looks
Vaccinator
nicer
up there.
than the actual figure, doesn't it? The
Yeah.
Grimlock artwork looks much better.
Well, I think it's because the head just seems to fit a bit better.
Well, the head's
You know,
dark
it's-
in there. If you go back to the picture there, the head is kind of very brownish, isn't it? I don't know if that's the lighting. And
I'm not sure if that's
funny-
the lighting there, but I
Yeah.
know what you mean. I feel like it's. You see where there's the where the neck
'cause-
is basically feels like the head's a little bit too high up almost.
Oh, I get it's because you've got the fake head, the fake head in either side, and that's actually a different colour to the real head, which we're going to see. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
The real head's in the middle of the chest there, and the fake head
Yes.
with the eyes, the fake eyes, that opens up and goes on to form like the waist, the side
Yeah.
of the dinosaur, and that's obviously
That
to
should be
match
dark
the
as
colour
well.
of
You're
the
saying
dinosaur.
to match the picture.
Yeah, in the picture there, you're seeing the actual head as if you would see it in the cartoon rather than the fake head.
Yeah. The artworks on these is immense though, and I like obviously it gives you a little bit of a hint as to what Kingdom probably is going to be about. Battle across time. You've got Starscream, G1 Starscream, flying in and attacking them, but you've got Dinobot there, and
I would say that's a
one we got
lie.
excited about.
I don't believe it because we all got told Earthrise was going to be about Earth. And I've even got the poster where they're landed on Earth and they're searching in the dark. Did we get Earth? Did we? No, we didn't. Like the last 2 minutes clip.
Who do we think this wing is then? There's a little bit of a wing. Somebody mentioned, is it Silverbolt? Alexis, I'm
Air
kind of
Razor.
leaning on you for this because you've
It's
got more
just
knowledge of
Air
this.
Razor, isn't it? Looks like Air Razor.
Is it just Air Razor's wing?
It's
Right.
just yeah.
I thought it
people
was
have-
the sorceress from He-Man Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
could
yes.
be, could be,
Yeah,
could be,
it is.
could be.
Oh, one other thing that
Oh, I can't believe
Forgot
this
to
is still
mention
going.
was-
We've done an hour now on these two.
the chest. A lot of people point out it used to say Elf, which was obviously a petrol gasoline company, and they've changed it for Orc because obviously elves and orcs, I should say, and a lot of people found that very clever. Obviously, not
Tolkien
us.
fans.
Yeah. Big shout out to the Tolkien fans. And then we had Crimsic Reviews who got hold of Tracks, Kingdom Tracks, which is looking pretty nice.
Splendid.
Excellent waist action. Of
The
course,
first triple changer
obligatory flying car mode.
with clear plastic. Oh my god.
He's like, I'm going to lunge.
Looks
will
pretty
lunge now.
Now
Now I am lunging.
lunge, yeah.
Great
Will I lunge
feat.
again? Yes. You watch
You're
me
going to do some
lunge. I
poses.
like
You've got to do a bit of
lunge.
lunging, haven't you? And of course, some blast effect ports. But it's looking nice. And then we had some more in-hand shots of the upcoming Rodimus Prime from the Kingdom line. And
Nice choice of words.
there's other photos of this that obviously make it look very good. But the reason that I've picked this photo is, as you can see, if you look at the hands,
Dagenham Dave and his big hands.
what is going on there? I mean, discuss.
Look at that finger.
Oh, he's got the girth on those fingers, hasn't he?
He really has.
Yeah. Some ladies give me
Fuck, that's a
blasted
big
from here
hand.
to Kingdom Come.
A couple
That's
of
the
right
biggest
old
hand
meat
I've
hooks
ever
there.
seen.
That's just, yeah. But I mean,
What
it
a
looks
hand.
really good. The figure itself and everything. So,
Mm,
who's
I
got it
can't see
pre-ordered
anything other
again?
than the hands now.
I
That's all
pre-ordered
you'll
it.
see now.
And
I'm looking forward to your overinflated hands on the pictures that you share. And then we've had a kind of a reveal of the design for the upcoming one of the bots from the upcoming Raiden set. I forget which one this is because I'm not an expert on the Japanese continuity. Anybody know off the head which one
Hijitsu
this looks
Konami.
like?
There you go.
What he said.
I made that up.
I know you did, but I'm still going with it because I haven't got anything better.
I used the word Fujitsu and the word Konami.
Oh, you said it so fast I didn't make it out. I
But
apologize.
it's either him or it's Bob. So
Oh, it could be Bob.
I always
But
prefer
is
Elsa.
anybody bothered about Raiden? Because
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
am.
train fans seem to be. People who are literally fans of trains get so excited about Raiden, and I just find it.
I can
It's just a
understand
train.
If you use British trains, you might be thinking, what's this all about? But I've been in trains in Japan, and it's amazing. It's like being on a luxury liner. It's just like,
I know, but it's still just a train.
Yeah, but
I
we
don't
never
get
really
that.
got these, did we? And when I was 16 or 17 and the internet really started coming about, or 15, I kind of I look back at those Transformers that I kind of remember. And the first ones you look up are like Omega Supreme and stuff, like the rarer ones which came out towards the end. And then you get embroiled in what happened in Japan. And you see these, and I just remember it from a kid seeing Raiden and thinking, "Oh, he looks so cool. Wish he'd come out."
Don't you miss the internet in the early days? I remember when the internet was first coming out. It was like 1994, 1993, and being able to read Transformer UK comics, which I missed out on.
Yeah,
and it was awesome, and it was just like fans taking scans, putting them up to share the stories. And now when you look at that, it's like piracy. You shouldn't do that stuff. This is bad. You're evil. And it's like destroyed that idea of the internet of sharing stuff, because obviously back then it was just about fans coming together and just showing stuff like you said, Paul, which you'd missed out on. Like I saw these MicroMasters, which I was thinking I'm going to get these one day, and I did.
To be fair, Jamie, there's a lot of stuff still shared on the internet, and there's a lot of coming together involved. So it's probably not that different.
Coming together, yeah.
The other thing there, you see, it's whichever one that one is. Oh, I could hear all the fans of this just at home shouting at the screen. But it's all right because none of the other lads know what they're called either. And then there was also this photo of the prototype for the Masterpeice Jetfire, which a lot of people have got excited about. Which Masterpeice Prime is that, Alexis?
MP10.
There you go. The size of it, people were quite impressed. But then somebody did a photo with Siege Jetfire alongside.
No, that was Phoenix.
Was that Phoenix?
Fans Toys Phoenix. So it's the same sort of size as Fans Toys Phoenix. It'd be interesting to see which one comes out on top, because again, last week I put Phoenix at the top of my list for the closest to a perfect Transformer there could be. So it's got a lot to live up to. This has.
And just looking at it, does it look a bit crap? I know it's the prototype, but to me it doesn't look that good.
People seem to get very excited about this, so I guess Jetfire fans are feeling like it's quite an exciting.
So how old is this photo? Is this like before we started to get decent cameras?
Well, this looks like is it from? I think the pictures, like the pictures we just saw, and this picture were from a Japanese magazine. So I think literally somebody has taken a photo on their phone with the flash on, by the looks of it, and then uploaded these. But I think there are better quality pictures that have since emerged, but clearly none of us were put the effort in to find them and share them because we all have busy lives.
This is good enough.
Leave it in. It's reality. Truth. I speak my truth. Anyway,
there'll be more photographs out in the next month. So
yeah, of course there will. Kingdom Rhinox, we had some more photos of him that have been revealed. Dame Chock sharing those, and then Seb Hodgson in GF UK shared them for us all to enjoy.
To be fair to Seb, I actually doctored one of these photos.
Bottom right?
Yeah, that's it. The one where he's facing backwards. What idiot would show that?
Clearly. But cheers, Seb, anyway.
It looks like Generations. Brilliant 30, doesn't it?
To hell with all that Masterpiece nonsense. Here was the big news. Galvatron's been found in Toy World stores in Australia. So the new Kingdom Galvatron, which we thought we weren't getting for quite a while.
Australia gets all the good stuff. Must be to make up for the fact that China's probably going to invade them at one point.
But do you know how much it was? It was something like $94 Australian dollars for this. They do pay through the nose, or seem to, for their
£12.
Two for $1 to pound over there.
So what's that? So that's basically about
47.
Does it work out exactly like that though?
No,
I've got friends who live over in Australia, and they say everything is more expensive. You earn more, and the quality of life's better, but they do say it's. Sorry, we're
in Australia.
It's turning into one of those daytime
but the wildlife is all right to kill you
to live there. Yeah, everything will kill you in Australia.
Yeah,
literally everything.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
But anyway, he's out, and people are getting him in Australia. So, if any of our Australian viewers...
Well, you save a lot of money in detergent in Australia, because you could just put your clothes out in the washing line, and that'll just clean.
Well, that's clearly what we were all concerned about.
Yeah, please don't unsubscribe.
And then Masterpeice movie, Bumblebee movie, Optimus Prime. Sorry, I've lost it from. And we've had these photos that have been released of this, and this, I even have to admit, this does look good.
It does
Will
look
this be
good.
something you'll be picking up, Alexis?
I prefer the Toy World one. It looks just too plasticky to me. It looks too. I don't know. I don't think it is plastic. It just looks. I don't know. The paint doesn't look amazing.
No,
I want to have a metallic paint if I was this. Yeah, paying that money. It just looks quite flat. And I don't know. Just
if you're a fan of the movie design, I think it looks very good. But like you say, there are other versions available.
I think the short version's so good.
Probably costs a lot less. And then a blue brain inside the Matrix.
What the hell?
Yeah. And of course, obligatory Prime holding Matrix pose.
Why have they done that? Like a blue brain?
I think it's supposed to be like shimmering, like a liquid look to it.
Instead, it looks like someone's brain's been removed from their skull and inserted into the Matrix in some kind of ritual.
But yeah, it looks. I do think it looks good. I'm not a Masterpiece collector, and I bet the price for this is going to be fairly extortionate.
I think it's 120,
if you are a Masterpiece collector,
120 quid. You can get it for 120, 150. Yeah, it's like. I mean, the
Toy
Toy World
World
one was
one.
100.
Isn't that
Toy
cheap
World was
for Masterpiece
200.
though? Given recent releases have been, wasn't there one? That
Well, how
was
much is it?
about
I don't know how much a
300?
movie Masterpiece is. I don't collect movie Masterpiece. I mean, I do. I collect third party movie Masterpiece because I prefer the look of it. I just don't know. It just doesn't look. It looks flat. I don't know.
I know what you mean about the colours. They do.
I think Alexis is saying it looks mince.
It looks pretty shit.
It looks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Toy World one is.
I've
is
decided
200
to
quid.
use the friendly Glaswegian vernacular from now on.
We know how much. We know how much trouble I
words.
had trying to transform that toy one. And things get some dropping off and all. It looks great. Just don't touch it. It's like X Transports. Looks really good. Never touch one.
Was that the one when you got it out of the box and bits started dropping off when you were trying to transform
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So it looked nice, but it fell apart. Anyway, third
Really nice.
party, and there's
Never found out where those bits went in the end.
not a hell of a lot of third party news that I've seen or that we've shared. There was this, which I will tell you exactly what it is, but it's based off the Transformers Prime Soundwave design, done in, I suppose, more of a movie realistic style, and I think it looks fantastic. But what do you guys think?
Looks lovely, really detailed. It's like one of those. Is it the DLX ones?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of as well.
It looks more detailed than the actual cartoon.
The Laserbeak looks a lot like the Dark of the Moon Laserbeak, just little design elements of it. I have no idea how much this is going to cost when it's out. I haven't been able to find any of that information on it, but it looks great. And somebody will put a comment in the comments
Does it
saying
actually
they know.
transform then?
I have no idea. I kind of hope it does, but I look at all those little parts and everything, and I'm thinking this is probably more likely to be some kind of a statue. But if it does transform, I'd be very interested as to what the alternate mode looks like. Because in the cartoon, he turned into basically a drone because he was a spy and everything. So, if Soundwave rather wasn't a cassette player anymore, because it's not the 80s, what would be something that would be good for spying? So make him a drone. It just looks. I mean, that head sculpt.
Doesn't one interpretation have him transforming into like a satellite?
That was in the movies, yeah. In Revenge of the Fallen, and then when he was in Dark of the Moon, he was a Mercedes. Yeah, because they were going to have him in the first movie, weren't they? And they changed their mind, and they kind of split it slightly between Blackout and Barricade, because Barricade had Frenzy, who would have been, one of Soundwave's minions, but they gave it to Barricade instead. But it does look good. I'll be very surprised if it transforms. And if it does, I'll be extremely impressed. But we'll have to wait for some more photos.
You could almost see how it does transform potentially.
You could, although I do look at parts of it. I mean, there's got to be one hell of a transformation, because there's parts of it that you'd think would have to really. There'd be a lot of movement. Yeah, snap off quickly. Anyway, it says there, TF Forever were the ones who had shared this, and it's Nakomake, or it might be Nakomake, but anyway, Nakomake Soundwave, and it's a color sample by Panda Studio, and it looks
Nakome.
It could be. I'm not Japanese.
Nakome Soundwave. It's like my clothing. I've got Ifoku clothing, and it reads "I fuck you," but Ifoku it actually means my clothing. E is my
That's what you got
Foku
told when
clothing.
you bought it.
Efoku. Says
We
I
sold
Foku.
another one of those.
And that was
What
all
is
the
story?
third-party news that we had. Nobody else has shared any with us, and I haven't seen any other. And I trolled the websites I did, but nothing brand new. And,
After you did some trolling, you look for some news.
hey, troll boy, can't understand English. You know, you understand Japanese.
Ufoku.
Nakome, Aifuku,
Passive aggressive behaviour coming
Ufoku.
over.
Aifuku,
Ufoku. Fuck me,
Aifuku,
fuck you, fuck me, fuck you.
then Aifuku.
What's it from? Freddie got fingered. You fuck me, I fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. At the end.
Oh dear.
Sorry, my
I
wife
feel
was
like
giving me
Paul's
a
not with
notice,
us.
That's a good movie, that is.
my
If
wife
anyone's ever
says-
seen
Tell Alexis he doesn't
Tom-
know
is it
Japanese.
Tom? Is it Tom? Who is it? Tom? Is it not Tom Holland? Tom? Someone who did it?
Tom Green.
Why are his hands so big?
It's disturbing.
Comically huge. I mean, look at that.
It's just a weird angle.
I pity the girl that he gets together with.
Oh, Hasbro.
It's like, you know, Alexis and Jamie.
It's like they tried to do Masterpiece hand engineering. And they said,
not
right, we
that.
can do it, but we're going to have to
I'm
make the
gonna say-
hand a meter wide and the spade.
I'm gonna save all my comments for the actual what you guys just.
Do you mean you're going to wait for our comments and then copy them? Thank you.
Oh,
Yes,
the picture
exactly.
hasn't
Yes,
come out very
exactly
well,
what
has
I
it?
meant.
That's what I do. I got that's a really good point,
I
Andy.
did
so
say it
write
looked like that,
down.
Rhino, didn't I? A few shows ago, I said it looked like that, Rhino.
You did, and that's why I edited that in.
Dave.
Don't be a dick.
He's going to cut this
Dave.
out.
Yeah.
He's going to
Sure.
cut this out.
Dave.
See you later.
Going to make sure
Dave.
it never ends
You've
because he's going
ruined
to cut this
everything,
out.
okay? You've knocked the
Dave.
lighting off. You've thrown pants at me. You've made dinosaur noises while I'm trying to look cool with
How
my
many
friends.
dinosaurs cough?
How do we know what dinosaurs sound like? That's what I would.
I know.
Right, let's get the show wrapped up. On to the
Deinonychus or
discussion.
Utahraptor, Velociraptor.
So tonight, I'm joking. On to pickups. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first
on,
if
go.
nobody else is in a rush to.
Cool.
So, nice and brief. I got this.
Ooh.
So, our good friend of the show, Rohan, picked up some Battle Masters and offered them to us. And it arrived today, this afternoon. And it's Singe to go with the truly awesome, for anyone who hasn't got it yet, Spinister. Of course, this is lovely. It's lovely that Rohan sent it. And I did say to him, right, you know, I'll send you the money for it. And he's insisted, no, he just wants me to buy him a drink at TF Nation, which is great because he doesn't drink alcohol. So it should
double
be something
R.
fairly
But it's
cheap.
still the Hilton, so it'll still be like.
Yeah, I was going to say,
£2
I'll just have a small Coke. That's £3.50. How much? I could buy you a pack of like 10 of them. Anyway, the tight Yorkshireman coming out there. But yeah, it was really nice of him to send it. And the only problem he's given me, as me and him were discussing today, is that because that's Singe who goes with Spinister, just in case you needed some explanation as to why I was showing Spinister. Spinister's target master partners from the original toy were Singe and Hairsplitter. So there's Singe. The problem is Hairsplitter is no longer called Hairsplitter in Transformers. He's called Shroot, and he is only available in the Phantom Strike, the notorious Phantom Strike set that
Which I've
I know
got.
Jamie's got, but anybody else, most people have to sell their firstborn to be able to get one. So it was pointed out to me that Shroot is just a recolored, repainted Aimless. So at some point, I'll have to see if I can pick up an Aimless and get somebody, Ethan, hello, just to repaint it and just to give it a little bit of a tweak so I can turn it into Hairsplitter. But yes,
colour
that's
is-
my one only.
What
pick.
colour is Hairsplitter? What colour is it meant to be? Or Shroot?
Originally, they were the same color as these guns. That's why Spinister's guns, you've got like a tealy blue, I think, and a purple one. So that would have been Hairsplitter, and that one was Singe. So Singe was a flamethrower, and Hairsplitter
Okay.
was just like a
Not a lighter blue then.
auxiliary rifle. Not really. It's like quite a dark. It's the same as Spinister's legs. It's that darker blue. He's gone.
Not that colour.
No, although I have got one that color. I've got. I did think about using, you know, the Hotlink, the two target masters that come, or battle masters, whatever we're calling them nowadays, that come with Hotlink. I don't like the look of them on a Seeker. I think I just don't. So I would think about using one of them and just giving it to Spinister so he could use that for now as hair splitter. I don't like the name Shroud. But anyway, real world problems there.
Cool. Right. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go
next.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll go next.
What I should have said is I'll go
None
next.
of you, because I am.
Yeah.
Would like to go next?
got
Oh no,
the
no,
power.
sorry, it's me actually.
Right. So
Thank
I
you.
got some chug this week. I was really happy with it. It's a Bumblebee, Netflix Bumblebee from Wow. I did have Cliffjumper before, and I sold him, and I think he is better than Cliffjumper. I think his hands tuck up well. I thought Cliffjumper was really, really good. I'd say he's better than the Masterpeice I had. Is it MP21, the Bumblebee with the exosuit? Spike, the first one I had him. It was really good. This just does the alt mode and the robot mode is, I think, my personal opinion, much better. And it's obviously a much easier transformation. So well done, Hasbro. That was good. Warpath picked him up. I love a good Warpath. And it is like, who's that guy? Is it Mark from Hasbro? Crazy Mark, who does the videos.
Yeah.
It's like they said, Mark, can you design us some legs? And when I was halfway through doing it, I did think, oh, these legs are a bit like overly designed. But really, they double to their width by flipping out, flipping in,
Oh, it's very
turning upside
clever, isn't
down. Yeah, and I actually quite liked it. It was a bit hard to clip together, the bomb bit. Quite like this bit. I thought this would be like a really important shieldy part of him, but it just goes underneath, doesn't it? It just gives you this
Yeah.
extra
Although that
playability.
does help to secure the front. I
It
think it's
does,
the
yeah.
front of
Ties
the
it all
tank.
together, doesn't it?
And I like it on the back because it's like the original
Yeah,
Warpath.
that's exactly how I have it as well. To me, it looks a bit like he did in G1 with a head on that panel.
Yeah, I liked him. He's got Bumblebee's gun because he doesn't come with a gun unless I've thrown the box away
I
with a
think-
gun.
No, he doesn't.
Paul disagreed
Good.
with us there, Andy.
It's a little bit like
I don't disagree with you. You're both just wrong.
Gundog's shield all goes underneath as well,
No, no.
doesn't it?
And also got-
Gundog's shield goes underneath. His shield goes underneath as well, doesn't it? Like the carriage.
Yes, it does exactly the same way. And again, it secures it in. Unfortunately, though, Gundog's shield doesn't secure his absolutely flaking arms, which just fall off when you try and transform him.
Especially
You
during the
Gundog.
review.
You rough man.
Got one of my favorite Optimus Primes back. So I had the Earthrise one. I sold to you, Alexis, because I was just kind of selling off the last bits of chug that I had. I bought more chug and I kept selling it, buying it. And probably I did regret selling him. And when I saw, I can't remember if it was yours, Jamie, or yours, Andy, when you got the Netflix one, the blues, I couldn't understand why I liked this one so much better. And I thought it was because he had really light legs. I thought the legs looked better, but it's not. The legs are grey. It's because of the blue. The blue's that dark, glossy blue that you get on the original Optimus
And I
Prime.
love the eyes.
Yeah. It's glossy as well, like the original. Very reminiscent. And
Do you know, I'm just looking at yours and I'm thinking, oh, that's really good. I wish I had that. And I went, I do. You know, it's just,
because it's a
Yeah, you got
transformer.
it first, for Christ's sake.
yeah.
So yeah, so loads of chug this week. I just had a bit of a chug out, and I was really happy with it. I think it summarised it. Like I've experienced lots of chug in the last year, and I kind of thought, right, I want to buy. Like I kind of went back to it and got my highlights of the chug year, which was like Cliffjumper, Bumblebee version, Netflix.
I can't. Every
Cliff
time you're
Bumper.
saying, it's my highlights of my chugging. I've been chugging away. I just keep thinking of Jamie. Wait, no, that sounded wrong. But you know what I mean? Jamie, like, just the other week when Jamie was going about every time you say chug. Anyway, I've been hanging around with
Chug in Scotland apparently means looking after yourself and pleasuring yourself,
enjoying some alone time.
which you should do to these three chugs because they're worth chugging over. They're really good. Well done, Hasbro. and Well done, chug fans.
Chug
Future
life.
is bright.
Stop saying chug.
Chug.
Chug
Chug.
life.
Right.
Meet a few guys down the park. Go for a few cheese. Chug life.
Chug Life, Connoisseur, and Epic Chugger. How do we get on, Jamie, this week?
I also got a present from Rohan, Singe.
What
So
did-
I'm absolutely delighted.
Half the show get presents. Wait, Alexis, did you get one?
No,
That's what he's half.
No, it's just people
Hey, what have I
around.
done
you
to
can
upset
count.
Rohan?
it's just a chug
You
collectors.
didn't ask.
Die-hard chug collectors.
Because last week he didn't have us all sing Rohan in, so he's pissed, man. He's pissed at you. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, Paul. He's
But
not
yeah.
really. That's a joke. Just in case anybody thinks he really is.
Just
No.
got back into Chug.
Well, he might be, I
and
don't
now I'm
know.
out again. Fuck you,
Rohan
Chug.
likes us all
That's the
equally.
Chug life for you.
This was also from Rohan. No, I'm kidding. No, I got this. I got another drawing. Just I'm not going to army build too much, just to stick it to. So that's another drawing. So I'm happy. Me Lynn was like, "Don't you already have that?" And I went, "I have so many, it's hard to tell." She didn't like that answer. This one, this one's a bit of a hard story to tell without me sounding like a complete idiot. And I think it's maybe because I'm a complete idiot, but I like collecting some of the Beast War figures and I like to get the duplicates, and if I can get an alternative version, different paint, that's even better, so I can have in 2 different modes. And I got, the Netflix cheater from In Demand Toys. And when I was transforming them, I was forcing them out, because what you're meant to do is you open this up and then you can sort of lift the head up, to come out, which can't really seem to do.
Oh, for God's sake, don't break it now.
Yeah.
Crap all over again.
So so the head comes out there like that. And the thing was, I was thinking to myself, that's a bit dodgy, especially if you don't open up the chest compartment like I hadn't done. And so I opened it and it worked. And I went, I wonder how many times this would work before it would break. So I kept doing it. And after about 20, I think it was 24 or 25, it broke. And when it broke, I was
What
like,
did you do there?
Oh, because it's like the scientist in me. I just want to test it.
Right.
I was just curious to see how strong this thing was. So Megan's like watching Netflix, and I'm going with this, forcing it each time.
Tugging away.
And I'm thinking, this is quite good. It's got high resilience. And then number 24, when I started to cry, because then she realised I'd broke it. So
In my head, I've got this image of you with a pad of paper next to you and going, 1. No visible damage. Head has gone back. 2.
It's the scientist in him.
It was kind of like that, except I was asking Milan to take notes and she just wouldn't. She said, I'm not playing your stupid game. So I went straight online in tears and ordered myself another Netflix cheetah. And to
The
be
best
honest,
life in the world.
I know.
Slowly breaking a transformer. Yeah, it's broken
I'm
now.
bored. What am I going to do? I'm just going to break
Amazon.
the Transformers. Oh, well,
Order
never
another
mind. I'll
one.
just buy more.
and so I was quite happy to get these in from Smiths. So I was quite lucky. And so I'm just going to share some picture.
You see, you got a picture of your broken one.
So
Pictures of him doing it would be good.
I didn't take those. I can't. I'm taking photographs.
So I got so I was basically made a post in Twitter and I was talking about how Action Forces, we know them, the proper name, which was more of an international organization, used to share the same comic strip as Transformers, the UK Marvel. And so I've got one of these figures, G.I. Joe Firefly. And one advantage is you get a lot of the little gimmicks, cool little things, wonderful detail on them. Just really good fun, and the face just reminds me of Alexis when he's pished out his skull. Actually, one eyebrow's doing its own thing, the other eyebrow's just chaotic.
Obviously, still being social distance there with the mask on.
Oh yeah. He's he's conscientious. It's fantastic for a homicidal killer. And so a wonderful little character, and my first time actually taking a photo of a sort of another toy line. Absolutely, just love.
Go back a couple of
Force.
photographs. The one behind. Technically, one more. One behind. One of them behind.
Those are the crazy Alexis eyes.
That one there. Now, technically, because he has a dynamite there, is he not called Arse Blaster?
Well,
He's the ass blaster.
certainly shouldn't have too many curries if I was him, if his dynamite being stored there. But
Do not light a
especially
match.
down. Yeah. But even the cartoon dynamite, I mean, obviously no one's going to have dynamite like that anymore, but the cartoon dynamite just makes it just even more ludicrous, and I love it even more for that, and plus the little drawing which comes with it.
Those Cobra
yeah.
Troopers look good.
So there's my little new sort of sideline I've started collecting. So I've got quite a lot of the G.I. Joe figures just now, and Mayline's just full of ecstatic joy every time she sees the logos coming there. Because I say they are important, they are part of the Transformers universe, sort of.
You should get her some as well. You should
I
probably
did
get her
notice that
some,
justification when you posted.
Yes.
so she can get involved in it as well. Probably get her a couple of figures. That way you can do it as well.
Buy them for her. She'd be so overjoyed.
But
There's some strong female characters in that.
I said, do you know what, Mayline? I'm going to get you the best Transformer ever, Unicron, and you'll enjoy it. But yeah, so that was my pickup. So the week it came from Collector's Den, Firefly. So thanks to Collector's Den for getting that out to me sharp.
Oh, I still haven't opened Unicron. He's still down there, sealed,
Again, how do you know? he's
accumulating
Alexis.
wealth.
Lisa,
I
I
Lisa's
was going to
probably
say it's like you're waiting for the perfect time to sell.
It's Alexis, you transformed
Lisa's
it
probably
yet?
just nicked it, put some pants in there
Oh, he
instead.
hasn't transformed it yet. We can see it next to him.
I
Still
put it back. I do it every week. Every week I transform it. I put it
Uh-huh.
back.
Oh, we always
Uh-huh.
miss you, don't we?
Unless
Uh-huh.
I decide to
What
sell
are we
it,
like?
and then you're a
Uh-huh.
buyer, and it's
Uh-huh.
never been transformed.
Uh-huh.
Right,
Uh-huh.
go on then. Captain Alexis, what did you get?
So I'm gonna stretch. I got this. I haven't even taken out the box because I'm out of time. X-Transbots Fuzz. So, aka Streetwise. I won't get him out this week. I'll get him out. I'll show him next week if that's all right. So I'll do some. Cause he's a lovely little cop car. I do some good things, and I hear people having trouble with the electronics. Again, X-Transbots electronics. What are they doing, right? They work perfectly every time. We all know that X-Transbots electronics work perfectly well.
Just
For
you.
God's sake, don't press on Scourge.
Never they problem. Yeah. Or what was that other one? The Quintesson one as well.
Weren't you
Sorry.
hammered that time though, Alexis?
What, the Quintesson? No.
No, Scourge.
Scourge you were.
You couldn't get the lights off or something like that. Or
No, they just wouldn't. It's like the fire alarm, as Paul said with Phoebe, switch it off, it switch back on again. The electronics in X-Transbots are just so. I think Ben did it. I watched Case's review, I watched Ben's review of this, and Ben tried putting the batteries in. He goes, "This doesn't work. I don't know what's going on with it. It doesn't
You
work."
did a good video for the Quintessons, though, didn't you? That's up in.
I did. I think I managed to work it out. So I'll have a little play with this because I want to. Because when you actually, he comes in robot mode, you transform into car mode, and it actually comes with proper seats. So a proper cockpit, seats, steering wheel, and he's got working police lights on his roof as well, which is pretty cool. And then it transforms into a leg and a car and a robot as well. So box art always pretty good. X-Transbots always do really cool 80s-esque box art, and you've got the tech specs. If you've got one of those red thingies from the 80s, you can read one of those.
expect decoder.
Exactly that. So I will unbox him. I just ran out of time. So apologies. I'm really busy at work. So
I forgive you.
thank you.
I don't.
So because I haven't done this yet. I wanted to do this. I had some really cool ideas about how to track. So I will do that as well. So next week, if I don't think I've got very much coming. I don't think I've got anything coming next week.
Are you apologizing for not taking half an hour to show off your pickups?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
So I will.
Is this what Alexis is like when
Hang
so
on.
bad? This is
So I got
This
this.
is revelatory.
This.
Cool.
This is for scale.
Thundercat.
For scale.
yeah.
That's it. So,
Scratch him. Go on.
seriously.
Fuck him up.
Yeah, I was thinking
Close
the exact
the
same. Go on.
No, don't look at the
Scratch.
blind. The blind's closed. It's nighttime. It's time for bed. I'm not giving you a cuddle. You're not having a cuddle. You are
What's
not
down
having
there?
a cuddle.
Give him a cuddle.
Why haven't you got a
Fine.
penis?
Fine.
I'm checking.
fine.
There's no cock down here.
Small cuddles.
It's
It's
just
perfectly
another
smooth, like an action figure.
You're like a
Small
Ken doll.
cuddle. Right.
pen. Right, cool.
Right.
On to our discussion. Discussion
Sorry, no, I'm not done
tonight.
yet. Anyway, I'm not done yet.
You're just talking about next week, and sorry if you don't get any pickups.
What's
And
your
you weren't
countdown?
Oh
done.
no, I've got stuff. So
When I
Yes.
saw that bag, I was like, "What are you?"
Drugs.
so this
The
is
pills away.
so if you remember a
Thursday
few
show.
weeks ago, I did the seriously, if you're going to be here, you got to be quiet. The upgrade kit
You talking to us or the cat?
for double dealer. Hang on a second, please.
Is this the other upgrade kit then?
Yes, the second one that I got, and I got it from gentleman over in Hong
The
Kong,
internet.
who is called
A
Chui Man
magical
Hon,
place.
and I'm happy to
From
put
called what?
Chui
Man Hon.
Man Hon. So he's on. So you can get some shapeways. I think he's designed it. Chui Man Hon in Hong Kong. I can give his details if anyone's interested. Just get in touch with the show, and I can put his details on. He's got an eBay site, and he kindly printed it off for me, and painted it because I don't have a printer. And straight away, I think it's a better kit than the other one I've got because it's just easier to actually manage. The challenge I have is I don't like Hasbro screws. I think Hasbro use cheap screws in their chug. So that's almost like one-way screws. So once they're in, that's it almost. But what it does is it does the filler part here. So you can see on the right-hand side, this is what it looks like, and this is what it does. So it matches up perfectly. The colors aren't quite there. It's quite difficult to get obviously the exact colors, but I think it actually does make a big difference. These leg pieces here fill into the gaps as well, and these bits extend in these. So the idea is you take them apart, so you split those apart, and then you unscrew 3 screws in the bottom half of the leg, and then you can just clip these on either side. So with the other bit, with the other one that I had, you actually had to take off part of the D and replace part of the knee with a new bit, which was a little bit finicky, I'll be honest, because the peg wasn't designed to come off. But with this, you just clip it on top so it extends it a bit further. So this is what it looks like. So the one on the left-hand side is, and then you still got the fillers in here as well, is the first kit, which is the more popular kit. And this is Choi Man-hon's kit. So you can see actually straight away he's a little bit taller. And so this black matches this here. So it doesn't take anything off this, it just extends it. And it's got the filler parts in the leg here as well. So again, your opinions are warranted. Which one you think is preferred? I know which one I like overall.
I like the new one, Fong's.
So I haven't got anything apart from dealers here. So the dealer twins, so you can see that the Decepticon one is Choi Man-hon's, and then the Autobot is the original. So I took some shots. So what I've noticed is that this one does come into a proper kneel position as well. This one overextends the legs a little bit when you go into the kneeling position, but you can get into some pretty dynamic poses. It looks like it's decent, but what I've come to realize overall is that I don't like double dealer. And
don't make me slap you. Again,
he's just a little bit too floppy.
Got very controversial today. I'm just saying.
He's just. I mean,
kicking the ball, kicking now.
I've got this wonderful stuff here which allows you to actually fix joints because he is a little.
We have a discussion about how his pickups
turned into a custom class.
He's a little bit floppy, but he is just a little bit too floppy. So, but I think the kit is really good. So the kit is the same price. So for what, £12 to £15, you can buy the kit. If you print off yourself, it's even less. Because again, I had to pay for postage from Hong Kong. It does do a lot. I think it does make the figure better. I think the Choi Man-hon's kit is better than the original kit. Sorry, the Shapeways kit. So that's that. I then also got as well these guys. So Newage, Old Star packaging. Again, comes with a 2-pack. Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. So just a couple of comparisons. Nothing amazing here really. Left hand side you've got Magic Square. Middle you've got Newage. Right hand side old Newage. From the top, so you can see clearly that the new Newage is teeny tiny. Overall, the car is good. It's better than the original Newage car. It actually has proper wheels that roll. This car here is a little bit panelly, doesn't quite sit together. Overall transformation, I found that the original Newage was better. Here they are against this is an Iron Factory car, which is the same size as most Legends cars, and then we have Iron Factory Cliffjumper, and as you can see, just completely out of scale there as well. Robot modes, who do you guys prefer? Which one, left, middle, or right?
Look at left space. Is that Magic Square?
I actually prefer the middle, to be honest.
Left looks
the middle, apart from his chest.
Middle doesn't look proportionally right.
He's got a bit of head for, hasn't he?
All three of them make me not like Bumblebee or Transformers.
More than before.
So the annoying thing is about the chest, right?
They're all putting me off, to be honest.
In a note that it's quite panelly here, and here.
That's the bad
you don't need that. There's no fold there. That's not there for that reason. I don't know why that's there. They could have actually done that as a whole piece if they wanted to. It folds. It's the inside of the actual. It doesn't. There's no fold there, so it's bizarre why it's like that. Doesn't make any sense.
But it's madness. It's madness, Alexis.
So here are all the Legends Bumblebee and Cliffjump options. Magic Square left. Newage 2.0 in the middle, and then you've got Newage 1.0 and Iron Factory on the right hand side. Personally, I prefer the ones on the left for robot mode.
He just looked like a sex doll. Not that I know what sex dolls really look like, because I've never seen one.
Did you swap his head for the Newage head?
Chug.
No. It does make you appreciate Chug Bumblebee even more, though, doesn't it?
These are all the cliff
Chuck him
jumpers.
off.
These are all the cliff jumpers. So you can see again, just variation in scales. And again, if you're a Legends collector, you've got Newage. This is Shockwave, or aka Jazz, at the back here. Magic Square in the middle, Iron Factory, and then Magic Square Prime. Again, the variant Bumblebees. And again, I think Magic Square nails it personally. If I was going to have one of those in my collection, one of the duo, I think Magic Square personally. Again, do your opinion still say the same, or have you changed opinion?
I'd have Magic Square still, but with probably Newage version 1's head. I think that it could swap the heads over.
See, I actually quite like their head sculpt. Is actually very good.
Yeah, but it'll be too small for Magic Square, won't it?
I don't think so. Actually, I think they're actually fairly similar. I looked at this. I actually looked to see if I could swap the head. Now the challenge is this guy's on the ball. I'll just swap back to the.
Yeah, so the challenge is selling them without the person buying them noticing you've swapped their heads.
This guy's on a ball peg. So the idea is because so you can put his head back like that, and that way he can be lying down, shoot Megatron with his bazooka. So it's got a ball peg at the back. And the only thing I don't like about this, if you look at the back of that, look at his calves. He's got bigger feet than MPRC. Look at that, huge. It's just they've got half a car onto his ankle. It's ridiculous. Like they haven't followed it up at all. It's like there's the whole car there. It's just stupid.
Makes you wonder how humans stand up, isn't it? Because our ankles are just not like that at all. Quite streamlined.
It's just that it just kills it.
Yeah.
Like, it materials wise, it's better. I just think it's just too small, and it's just I think there's too many flaws with it personally. Compared to the Magic Square one, and again, Magic Square takes all the engineering from the original Newage, so it's just bizarre that Newage have tried to we'll go as small as possible, and they've sacrificed. I mean, it looks like he's wearing a little nappy there.
Cool. All right. What's next?
Alcohol.
No,
please.
It's very long. Very good photos, though.
That's it. I just want to have a little grab at them. Lovely figures. I just don't think they're not for me. So
cool. All right. Cheers, mate. All right. To round us off, we have a discussion. What would you bring back from the 80s in terms of franchises? So who would like to go first? What franchise would you bring back, modernize into 2021?
Exo Squad.
Rohan.
Throw hand. Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rohan's Corner. And this week, I'm continuing the theme from last week, talking about combiners. I wanted to focus on one of the best combiner groups that there were. Obviously one of the Decepticon combiner groups, because they got a lot more character development than the Autobot combiner groups, and specifically the Combaticons. Why the Combaticons? Well, it's all because of the Renegade Decepticon storyline from Generation 1. And if you remember back to G1 and what happened with the creation of the group of the Combaticons, it was after Starscream had been exiled from the Decepticon ranks due to his usual kind of behavior, trying to mutiny against Megatron and being stuck on some island somewhere. He manages to find these 5 various different assault vehicles from the war, and then he has this clever idea to go and steal personality components from the Decepticon prison on Cybertron. Somehow Starscream as a one-man band is able to achieve this, taking the space bridge to Cybertron.
We're under strict orders not to let anyone travel on the space bridge without proper authorization.
Here's my authorization.
Proceed.
Getting the best of Shockwave and actually rescuing these captive Decepticon renegades. And it actually starts a little bit of a feud between Prime and Megatron, because Megatron thinks that Prime has stolen them and starts attacking Megatron and so on and so forth. But ultimately what happens is that Starscream gives life to his World War II assault vehicles by providing these personality components from previously incarcerated Decepticons. And this is interesting because two things. One, why were they incarcerated? Apparently they were, evil Decepticons who went against their own cause. And two, what happened to the rest of the Decepticons that were imprisoned on Cybertron? We saw Starscream destroy some of them by shooting them with his null ray.
Gotcha.
But were there more sort of prison blocks, and how long had they been there? What happened to their original bodies, and what did they look like? These are all really interesting pieces of information. And also, later in Generation 1, they never hark back to their previous incarnations or their previous lives as Decepticon prisoners, or what happened to get them into prison in the first place. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the Combaticons as, for a couple of reasons. One, personalities. Two, their back history. Three, their vehicle modes were fantastic. And four, Bruticus was a big brute.
Bruticus, devastate devastator.
And that was quite interesting. And he had a great gun, and he could use his propeller blades from Vortex on the side when he was fighting the clones on Cybertron, Shockwave's army, for example, which I loved. In later series, we saw his form reincarnated for RID, where they used the Combaticons again as the Decepticon army team. And then later again, we saw them come back in Energon and other series from them. But we've never actually seen those characters get another chance at the screen and have some more screen time or be developed again. I'd love to see Swindle get some more time because I think his character was brilliant. And also,
the name's Swindle. I'm what you might call an intergalactic arms dealer. And
what are you willing to pay for it, Galvatron? What's in it for me?
So I'd like to see some of the other characters get some more development as well. Maybe they could bring back the Combaticons in the next line as part of the main focus. Who knows? Who was your favourite combiner group and why? And what do you think about Renegade Decepticons? What were the reasons that they were political prisoners in Decepticon camp? What do you think they did? And what happened to the rest of them? Did they get out? Did they get new bodies? Were they destroyed? It'd be really interesting to find out what people's thoughts are on this. Anyway, for another week, I've been Rohan on Rohan's Corner. Back to the studio.
Hey boys, we've been rumbled. Well, let's bounce.
Thanks, Rohan. Right, on to our discussion, which tonight is all about things we would bring back from the 80s, franchises or cartoons. Who would like to go first?
Exo Squad.
Root.
Bring back Exo Squad. Classic cartoon from the 80s or early 90s, where you had humans using kind of mechs, which were more like Centurions and kind of design like exosuits, which they used to fight against Martians, which was man-made cybernetic organisms, which were bigger than humans and a little bit, which were used as slave labor. Kind of like a Planet of the Apes scenario. And then basically they rose up because no one likes being a slave, and came to the Earth. And it was quite a good storylines, good units, people dying. You had other factions, and absolutely loved the cartoon. And because it was the UK, it was always kind of hard to know when the next episode was coming in. It was more like it was random luck when you got to see it next. And I absolutely loved Exo Squad. It's a bit hard now to watch it because when you look at it, you're stuck to having to find internet downloaded copies and stuff to see it. It's quite hard in the sort of VHS format it was in. But I would really love Exo Squad to come back, especially like when I seen the reimagined He-Man Masters of the Universe, something like that artwork. I would be delighted.
Wasn't it quite grown up?
Yes,
it was subject matter. It wasn't like if you actually look back at it, because Toy Galaxy did a episode on it as well, and it didn't really hold back. It was quite grown up.
I
for
mean,
its
I
time.
think a lot of people now could do with watching that, because I think just now we have kind of lost our way on ignoring what's happening around the rest of the world. And I think Exo Squad is quite good at showing, it's the simple things, and it's about trying to do the right thing and realizing that sometimes it's not always clear cut, but what is clear cut is human suffering. And when people suffer, you try to stop it. And I think we kind of lost that aspect, And I think a lot of cartoons are a bit scared of touching on adult subject matters because they're a bit. I think people want to be a little bit more complex than they need to be, and I think it'd be good to have some cartoons with a good moral message again.
Funny you should mention that, because I watched I binged this week on Amazon Prime's Invincible, which I think you recommended, Jamie, and I love it. Amazing. It's like, obviously, like, you sort of cross The Boys with Justice League, and there you go, right? 10 episodes of pure genius, right? And I love the fact that when they don't say his name, they just sort of splatter a little bit more blood every time onto his suit.
Oh yeah.
On the sort of it's really quite clever how they've actually, it's what would potentially happen, I guess, in that respect. So I do quite like how sorry, geeking out a little bit. I quite like how the voice actors actually look like they're. I don't know if it's meant to be like, if it's an original cartoon comic book. The voice actors look like they're the cartoon on.
Apart from the guy who's doing Invincible, because they really should have went for someone. Mixed heritage.
Correct. Yeah.
I think a mixed Asians actors, there's plenty out there, and they keep getting overlooked because Hollywood is stupid and racist and goes by stereotypes. So they tend to get mixed. When they do mixed heritage people, they tend to we'll go for someone who's actually Asian or black or white. They never seem to go, let's actually try to find someone who actually has that identity and knows what it's like.
Great. And just worth saying, the reason we picked tonight's
check
topic is
Captain
because
Planet
of
now, see if they're all got the right people voicing them.
The reason
they had all the demographics, didn't they?
Well, I think
it's because of two reasons.
Do you think
it's because of one, because everyone said MP is dead, and it's come back with Jetfire, which is like a phoenix from the ashes, which is fans' toy.
Yeah, that was a great 80s show.
And obviously, and then obviously the remastered He-Man. So two reasons to bring things back.
Correct.
I don't often go woke. That's the only time I've ever been woke. like 2 decades.
Did they all ever see the original He-Man? Not the original He-Man, like the new He-Man, which came out like 15 years ago.
The one which was like.
Did anyone see our discussion? It was when we started it a couple of minutes ago. We were discussing things we're bringing back from the 80s.
I know, but I think Alexis touched on an interesting point in Invincible, in the sense that Invincible is something new and original, which I think is sometimes something which we always try to reinvent the wheel or just appropriate something else and try to turn it, rather than come up with something new and exciting. And I think Invincible hits a lot of checklists because it doesn't seem false. It's a new original character, which is bringing a lot of these storylines, and it's very adult. It's like I wouldn't let your children watch it, and it's something.
Is it 18?
I would say so.
No, it is. A lot of them are 15 and a lot of them are 80 because there's a lot of death, and it's like, like if Superman or someone really hit a human, what would happen to that person? Let's face it, they're not really going to live, are they? It's not going to be like, oh, I've knocked you out again.
Well, it is like The Boys, then, isn't it? Because the man train, A train, just like decimates that person.
That's it. In the first, it's ridiculous how many people you see. Lots of guts, and it's
that's a good version of something new coming out, built on other things. I liked what you said, Jamie, about how they tackled adult subjects. I remember when Captain Planet and the Planeteers tackled that basketball player who was black and had AIDS. And I remember my mum going, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Oh, Captain Planet and the Planeteers." And like at the time, I was like, "Oh, that's good that they're going into that." And you wouldn't really get that nowadays. I'm sure there probably was like stations who banned it and didn't ever play it in America, but they went full on there and just showed someone who had AIDS. And
See, I'm jealous because in England you got to see Captain Planet. In Scotland we got Captain Plantage. We got to see the Gaelic version.
What was that?
So Captain
Pugwash.
Instead of saying Captain Planet, it would be Captain Plantage. And
Yeah.
it was all in Gaelic. So you'd be a young kid going, yeah, Gaelic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well. I know. You know, and it was annoying because in Gaelic, because there's a lot of words that Gaelic didn't have for it, but instead of just using the English version, which you find in a lot of other languages do, they will use the English version because they don't have it. Gaelic's like, fuck that, we will just invent a new Gaelic word, which is even harder to spell, you know, and use that instead. You're like, no.
Did you ever see that Captain Planet parody with Dom Cheam, where he's got all the kids and they're like, oh, Captain Planet, you've come to save us. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to fuck up these bad guys. He's like, didn't he shoot from his dick?
Or his navel, something like that.
Yeah, and he goes, and he turns the bad guy into the tree. And they're like, oh, wow, Captain Planet, you're amazing. And then he can't stop. He's like, yeah, and he like shoots a bad guy running away. And then, he like just shoots a random car. Then someone's dog, and then the kid, and then the child, and then someone's mum, and so he just kills like everyone.
City, isn't it? The Newage City.
You can imagine Captain Planet these days, right? Like, because Rag goes, I am Captain Planet, goes, yeah, we're all carbon neutral, mate. Oh, right, you over here. Yeah, we've just cleaned the ocean over
I've got a Prius, mate.
What are you gonna do? I've got a Prius, yeah. What are you gonna do? Oh, we'll go pub then. Captain Planet. What are you doing, mate?
No one needs you.
We've got Greta now.
Right, come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Who else? Who else would you bring back from the 80s?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Bootlegs. Yeah. Oh, that is good.
That cartoon still works today. It still does. They wouldn't even need to reimagine. They could just do a high definition version of it. Remaster.
Because the film they remade was wank. Let's face it.
The film had nothing to do with the cartoon. See, the thing with Dungeons and Dragons, what disappointed me, because the cartoon was so awesome. Every time I saw something with Dungeons and Dragons, and I thought, yeah, the cartoon, and it was never. It was just a disappointment.
Hey, look, it's the Dungeons and Dragons ride.
What would you bring back from it? So I think the toys are quite limited, aren't they? Where you get all the He-Men and all the Transformers and stuff.
Yeah,
the
so
cartoon
much
you could do the cartoon.
Could you be after Masterpeice Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, because you had the Skeleton Warriors. You had remember Dungeons and Dragons virtually borrowed from all of the sort of Tolkien and Dungeon universes and just mixed everything. You even had King Arthur there. There's so much they used in the actual cartoon, and then you had the different dragons, the Dragon's Graveyard. You know,
Tiamat.
Yeah,
Tiamat would be amazing.
There's so much you could do. There's so many figures. Oh wow!
Five-headed dragon. That had every fire, ice, electricity, smog, and then poison gas. It's like, what more do you want, right? Cup of tea.
Tiamat. And Tiamat, what a name!
I would probably bring back. I was thinking about this. It's being brought back, but I'd love to be brought back again for a fourth time. I think. Just Thundercats. Just loved it as a kid, and seeing your brilliant figures, Alexis, that you had on the show. Just kind of, you kind of have to have that first wave or second wave or proper Masterpeice Thundercats to really make you want it. I think they go for quite a lot, don't they? Now. You can't really get hold of them. Just the whole lore of Thundercats, I loved, and also Centurions. That'd be the other one. Centurions.
Oh yeah.
Don't know, that was. And when you think of how toy technology or engineering's come on over the years, how cool would Masterpeice Centurions be?
I would hope the Centurions would be updated though, because I don't like characters being changed into something else. I'm against that. I always think they should come up with something original. I always think it's like a zero-sum game, and it's stupid, really, because they're just taking away from something else and thinking they're being virtuous. I think they should come up with something like original, like Invincible. But I think with Centurions, it's the only three characters. I would like different versions of these characters because they do look like the village people if they were superheroes sometimes to me when I look at them.
Are you slagging off the mustache?
I am sorry. I have. I just remember them, and it's their names, isn't it? Ace and I would
Ace
like
McCloud.
Yes, I like the name McCloud, Scottish, but I would like an updated version of that, and that makes me sound like such a hypocrite because normally I'm always like, no, pure, but
yeah, actual decent characters. I think that's where it failed, didn't it? And Brave Star as well, that failed. Like, it just didn't have cool characters, likable characters. My final one would be to bring back, and it'd be my number one choice over anything else. It'd be Starcom to bring that back, which was late 80s, early 90s toys. And that's where I think the toys were better than the cartoon, like Transformers. And I've had them back. Masterpeice Starcom. That was the dream come true. Andy.
How would you do MP Starcom? How would you...
I know. And that's a commandment to how good they were, because how would you improve that? How would you make it Masterpiece?
I always wanted Starcon, and
as long as it has the sound.
And it's like that Mantiforce, which always seemed like a poor man's version of Starcon.
Well, I was going to say, awesome. Not knocking it, but wouldn't Centurions be a poor man's Iron Man in today's world? Because you've got to have Iron Man so front and center in the universe today, in the sort of cinematic universe. If you brought out a Centurions, would they not fall short potentially of in a child's
Centurions were about the variety, weren't they? Iron Man's about one suit, and it might go grey.
You got War Machine.
Exactly. So it's one suit, and it might change color. Where Centurions was about all the different things you could put on it and customize. You could have a bit of the land and a bit of the sea attack with a few air missiles underneath.
Wasn't that part of the problem though with Centurions, that there was a limitation on it? Like one guy was the land guy, one guy was the air guy, one guy was the sea guy. It's like,
if you had all three, you could swap them over, couldn't you?
Oh, you could, but I'm just saying that it was a limited number of characters. Where do you go with it? You know.
Well, they brought more accessories,
guy,
didn't they?
We'll have a space guy. We'll have a.
Like you called the Tundra guy.
Loku Braves Costco, that guy.
Definitely could be updated to having like almost 6 to 10 different other characters. Some variation there, a little away from they all seemed like clones of each other. Like I don't know, cowboy western characters who somehow in the future with gear with a mustache. Magnum. That's what they look like.
That mustache.
Yeah. I see Andy's point though. Quick, Centurions, Dark Terror is now in the Amazon rainforest, cutting down trees. Who's gonna go help him? Care Bears. We can't go there. We're not Jungle Force.
I'm the wrong Tundra.
That's it.
Possibly help.
The Paw Patrol.
Sand and desert.
Oh, in fact, Paw Patrol has overtaken. There you go. Sorry, I missed. I apologize for that. We've where I live, last couple of days, the local Facebook groups have been reporting internet outages all over the place, and our internet just went, and so I went, and I'm back, but I've missed it. I caught Thundercats. I think you've talked about, Paul.
Yep.
Centurions, obviously. Starcom you mentioned as your number one. So Dungeons and Dragons has been discussed. What else has been discussed? Just so
the thing is, we've had this discussion before, and way back, I wonder if these are part of the lost episode files. But I remember Andy talked about the Thundercats, the 2010-11 version.
Yeah.
And he said which was exceptional at its time, but it probably just came out too soon before, the explosion of Netflix really came onto the scene, which might have, or stream services, which would have pushed that forward.
I've just watched it again, actually, just recently. Finished watching it again, and it was really good. I actually, as a grown-up, probably enjoy it more than maybe a kid would, because it wasn't like the 80s cartoons that tended to be very single episodic, so that you could sell the toys of the week. It actually had a story that you followed through each week. And yes, they did still come in and introduce new characters, but there was a point to it. It wasn't just, right, what we're going to do, let's just chuck in some characters. It was, there was a reason behind each part of it, and it all came together at the end.
And spoilers, but one of the female characters, but you think, well, eventually she'll go to love him and become good. No, she didn't. She grew to hate him even more.
And it was a really good show.
Life.
But I'd echo that with Thundercats. I'd like to see it done again properly. I mean, He-Man seems to have gone. This new He-Man cartoon that's coming out seems to have gone down the similar line. And I've seen some shots of some of the figures that are going to come. Well, I don't know if they're actually from the show, but there's the new.
I've already told that to me, Lynn.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I've always liked the Decepticons. I've always liked the bad guys in these things, and Skeletor is still for me one of the greatest bad guys. And that Skeletor figure, is it called Master of the Universe Revelations or something like that?
You bone brain buffoon! You're meant to get He-Man. Get He-Man.
It's like he's in the room and he was Alexis. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. The other one, like Thundercats, I would have mentioned. I mean, that was just a really good show, and I'd like to see
theme song. What a theme song!
Yeah, exactly. But you'd They didn't have the theme song for the 2011 version, did they? They only used a little bit of as like a little bit of music at the end, and then showed the roaring symbol.
But there was like a 2011 Thunder He-Man as well, wasn't there? Which was remade. It went through. It did talk about.
No, it was earlier.
It was earlier. It was
it was 2004-ish, something like that.
Melkor, which was and then
it explains where Skeletor came from, and he was the brother of the king at the time.
That's right.
And he tried a coup, and he was going to throw this acid in the king's face, and he actually got it knocked into his own face, which is why he ends up the way he is.
He went to Lord Hordak and why are you not in bed?
Child.
Why are you not in bed?
You're not my real dad, Alexis. You can't tell me when to go to
He's hiding.
Let's watch how long he can outsmart Alexis.
Right, we'll call it a night then. That was good.
I haven't finished.
Oh, all right. There's more. Sorry.
But I'll do it really quickly because this is anybody who's watched the show will know this. Visionaries is the other one I'd like to see back.
Yeah, of course.
Just because it was great, and I really enjoyed it, and I think there was a lot more potential there.
And
but
we
I realise I'm in the minority.
I was going to say,
we won't key how to wear a moustache.
So
there was lots of mustaches in that show. Almost everybody had a mustache, including some of the women. Yes, go on.
2 points I'm going to make. So the first one, I thought the 2004 He-Man was very complete. It's going to be very hard to outdo that one because it actually went back. It took on the He-Man, took him for his journey, went through to the Snake Men as well. They predated Skeletor and in between Hordak as well. And they went back to the Sword of Omens, or whatever it's called, the sword. That's the Sword of Power. They went back to the Sorceress, the original Sorceress, the original He-Man, and what happened with Hordak, and went back to that. Awesome. They went to He-Man's origins with like a special double episode. So it was like
60
I think
was
it's
there.
pretty hard to beat that personally.
60 cents. Did you say?
But just to flip the question on its head, though, what would you say wouldn't need remaking, but would just need to be updated with a child in the background?
If there's one thing that we could bring back from the 80s, would it not be Thatcherism?
Not
updated. Does anyone ever look and think there's too many minds where I live? And if there's one thing I could bring back and it would sort the minds out, it would be
bloody
Thatcher.
miners.
Fucking Cornish pasties.
It's one thing I could bring back from the 80s. I don't know. Weird Science. There you go. I love Weird Science. That was a great film. Yeah, still is a great film. And cartoon-wise, I think we've covered most of the bases. Dungeons and Dragons. Who said Dungeons and Dragons?
Alexis, great call.
Oh, well, I was going to praise it, but it's Alexis. No, it was. That's a great shout. Just because that never got finished.
Actually, I said
literally never got finished.
I said there was going to be a show which you wouldn't need to remaster. I mean, we do, but only make it in high definition would be Dungeons and Dragons.
That's the one. There is
Macross. If they'd done Macross,
if you go onto Google and you look at Dungeons and Dragons ending, someone wrote it. It just never got broadcast.
There was stuff. It's like the Thundercats series from 2011. They'd written it was supposed to be 52 episode seasons. And they only did it 126 episodes. So they had the plans for where the story would go, what would happen to the characters. And the writer did an interview with someone. It's on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but they basically did do like a 20-minute episode where they explain what would have happened. So obviously, kind of spoilerific, but it's never going to get made. So is it spoilerific? It was that kind of stuff I find really interesting, just to hear where the story could have gone. Like you see at TF Nation when they get some of the writers of the shows like Transformers Animated and Transformers Prime this year, who hopefully, certainly Transformers Animated, they came and they basically said, this is what would have happened. And these are the characters we would have had in there. And this is how their story arcs would have developed. And that's really fascinating. But Dungeons and Dragons, that was a good shout as well. I would have liked to have seen a conclusion to that. Because I'm sure there was supposed to be part of it that was written where they were going to have to kill.
No, they've got. And didn't they have the last episode? And it's only the sound. They got the voices, but they never animated it.
That's it.
Dungeons and Dragons.
And I know that officially they never made it home. A bit like Quantum
there
Leap.
was the Dragon's Graveyard where they fought Venger in the place where their weapons were forged and their weapons were more powerful. And they got Venger there. At the end, they beat him, and they had a chance to kill him, and they didn't. And then Dungeon Master came out and said, "Well done, children. You passed your final test." And he goes, "Don't worry, my son." Took Venger on his knees and goes, "I will take you home now." And took Venger.
When did he turn into
and
Mel
then-
Brooks from Spaceballs?
Right. Also,
on,
from the
Sheldon.
80s would have
Who's
been.
the Schwartz?
Imagine this Netflix series, a bit like The Expanse, that sort of level of budget, and it would be Warhammer 40k, Space
Ooh.
Marine. That would be awesome. Big budget Warhammer 40k Space
That
Marine.
would be tasty.
Right, I think that's it. I think one thing we can agree is like stuff you get from the 80s, bring it back and update it always works out. Like you've got War for Cybertron, which was really, really good. Star Trek Picard, which was an amazing series. So all these great things, like what we're discussing, definitely is something that should happen. Cool. Right, Jamie, what is the Twitter?
TF Show UK.
Thanks. Okay.
It's
Facebook.
Instagram is Transformers the Show. I've watched this enough times to know that.
If you go onto Facebook and search Transformers the Show, that's our Facebook group, and TF UK, which is our home. Right, that's it for this week. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Aye.
Bye.
Shall we?
I want to do big
What are we
eyes
doing?
tonight.
Jamie, give us the big eyes every now and again.
It's only when Alexis
A
has said
wise old
something.
owl.
Three, two,
Well, then, Jamie, do you do that, does that happen like you're in a
one.
queue
Why
or
would you
something,
do that?
right?
You
And
don't-
then like you do that to like the teleprompter, and like she like is like, "No, sorry, sir, that train's left." "How's it left?" "No, sir, no, you can have first class tickets." "Yes, yes, 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 sir."
You're
Thank you very
thinking of
much.
hypnotism.
No.
It's more disturbing when you do it.
and rubbish
Alexis.
stories.
You do want to have a drink with me?
Look into the eyes.
Yeah,
Right,
Look at
cool.
the eyes.
All right, sharp. Don't when I say 3, 2, 1, don't talk over me. Don't talk over
Right,
me.
okay.
Don't talk over me. Don't talk over
Talk
me.
to-
If I'm talking
Otherwise
before
I'll
you say
quit
3
the
to 1, does
show.
that count? Does that count if I'm talking?
It's fine.
before
I'll
you say
quit the
3, 2,
show
1?
if you do it.
That's
Like,
fine.
I'll just
Show.
I won't
quit
talk
the
over
show.
you, but just don't do it while I'm still talking. then.
Just kick
No,
Alexis, it's easier.
I'll just do 3, 2, 1. Just don't talk over me.
Right. Does that
All right.
count? Have you finished?
I haven't done 3, 2, 1 yet, have I?
You just did it twice.
Nope.
I kind of heard it.
There's implied parenthesis across it. Right, 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to Transformers The Show number 70. On tonight's show, we got discussion about what franchise we would bring back from the 1980s. You just done eyes, Jamie.
Eyes.
You asked for his eyes.
Uh,
You can't handle the eyes.
and what else is happening? We've got big news. No, I'll do it again. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Show.
Yeah, it's probably great. 3, 2, 1. So we've got a really good show lined up for you tonight. We're looking forward to that discussion, plus all that news, and we've got our pickups. But first of all, the news. Oh, dial. Fuck off, Carp.
8:36. Let's crack on.
We'll be there. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Transformers the show. Are you ready? We'll be there.
Yeah.
Jamie's gonna have
Jamie's
an
pulled the face.
aneurysm.
Oh, Jamie just did the big eyes face.
Did he? Oh, I missed it. Did you get this?
It's the
It's the sex face.
what?